To God be the glory again. Opportunity to give us every day to teach and develop these young men to serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Positives. We're Big South champions, and that's a pleasant words to say. Even though we've lost the game last week, that's a great accomplishment that this team has acquired. One thing I want to say about the seniors too is that 4 out of the 5 years we've been conference champions, and so that's a great accomplishment by the seniors that's playing their last regular season game at this point in time, and I'm proud of that. They also been great representation for this program. Another thing here about the positive things is we have a chance to make the playoffs and still got 1 game left. I guess we also got another chance to, after the game, to have a chance to make the playoffs. So it's a very unique situation that we're in. And again, we have a great opportunity to beat a FBS opponent in Coastal Carolina as far as this week. They're in that transition, so it's still an FBS opponent as we look forward to it. Coastal Carolina, again, it's been great rivalry, great games. In the 5 years I've been here, or 4 years now, going on the 5th year of playing them. Every game's been exciting. Every game has been right down, for the most part, almost to the wire. Good competition, good competitiveness, great coaching. And I don't think it's going to be any different in this ball game. Coach Mogler, every year this team has been competitive. They've had opportunities there to be competitive as far as in the conference. They've been competitive also with representing the Big South in the playoffs. And so in their transition, they're going to be in the Sun Belt Conference. Defensively, they have acquired a new defensive coordinator in Mickey Matthews, an old fellow Texan, which I've gone way back of knowing him a while. And now he's running the defense, and I think they improved on their defensive side of the ball. I think they won a lot of their games here as the defense has made some plays. They run fast. They do a lot of good things. They still run an even front like they have been in the past, but he's added a few little wrinkles in his own things there. But they've been, I would say, they have a solid defense. Offensively, they've been multiple. They've had a lot of different quarterbacks, a lot of different backs. As far as injuries and those things that have occurred. So, I think we're going to be facing a little bit of everyone as they've had all year long. And so they do have multiple quarterbacks of being able to do a lot of good things. And so it's going to be a tough task for us to really be ready for them. But, again, they got a great running back, and I guess the first guy, D'Angelo Henderson, very good runner, very strong runner, has good moves, good vision. He can run over, he can make you miss. And then he also has very good speed. Their offense, I think 8 out of the 10 games, they actually have scored over 30 points or more. Devin Brown, a very good specialist, kick return guy there, has been very, very explosive, done a lot of good things there for their team. Moving on to the injury report, Will Brown is out. Elijah Benton is out. Sam Isaacson is questionable. Tolan Avery is questionable. Solomon McGinty is questionable. Lucas Holder is probably doubtful. Jawan Wells is questionable. Keys to the game. I think I've almost said it every week, but in this case, we got to make sure that we have more explosive plays than they do. I'm talking, again, over 20 yards. We need to prevent that from a defensive perspective, minimize that as much as possible. And we need to get as many explosive plays that we can to give us a chance to be successful. We still got to run the football. We still got to be able to establish the running game, but we need to produce some explosive plays. I look back at really all the games we played. Whenever we've had some great success, we've been able to have explosive plays. And then when our defense has had great success, they have had opportunities where they did not allow that many explosive plays. And then the second thing is really, I think, to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, whether it's our O-line versus their D-line, and our D-line versus their O-line. I think that's going to be the tall tale of the game as far as that goes. Also, making an announcement here is Robert Wimberly will be the acting coach for the Coastal Carolina game, so he'll hold all the responsibilities on Saturday as far as for the football game there. Open up for questions.
First of all, with the injury report, you said Isaacson, Avery, McGinty, and Wells were all questionable?
Correct.
And Holder was doubtful?
Correct.
Okay. Along the lines with Coach Wimberly, just kind of give us an idea of how that affects everything. Are you pretty much approaching it the same way that you always do up until Thursday, or how? Just kind of give us an idea how that operation's working.
Well, yeah, I will be everything up until, I guess, technically, if you want to get right down to it, it's 12 midnight, I guess, excuse me, I should say Wednesday night, Thursday morning, midnight is when I cannot have any contact with coaches or players. So really, up until that time, really right 10 o'clock bed check is probably be the norm that I'd be in contact with the players or coaches just like I normally would. And then basically this Thursday morning, I guess it'll totally then go over to Robert Wimmerly will handle everything from that perspective. We're not going to change anything that we've done in the past as far as routine-wise with our coaches and with our players. He's just going to have a few more duties as far as being able to handle the coaches as far as in our staff meeting on Thursday morning that we go over kind of a few little things that we go over just to make sure we're all on the same track as far as preparation for the game and those things. Talk to the team. As far as the rest of the day and handle all the other head coaching responsibilities. So that's in the general of what's going to happen as far as on Thursday on game day.
Coach, how do you plan on keeping track of the game? Will you be somewhere watching the game? Will you listen to the game? How do you plan on keeping up with it?
Plan on watching the game on TV. Again, I guess I don't know how I'm going to be or how I'm going to act. I haven't been in this situation before as being actually coaching a team and then not being able to be there at the game. So all I can know is I will be watching the game there. I'll probably just be at a hotel there and watching the game.
I guess from the defensive side, is Vance Singletary, is he going to kind of handle the calls at that point, or will Coach Wimbo still be involved heavily there, or how does that kind of play out?
Coach Wimbo will be calling the defensive call. That's nothing. Nothing's going to change on game day, except for now. I'd probably say the biggest difference would be for Coach Wimberly will be fourth down on the offensive side of the ball, getting the okay whether they're going to go for it on fourth down. Really on special teams and some of the communication that I have with Scott Downing. For the most part, Scott Downing has generally handled that. Every now and then we touch base whether we may go for a block or go something of that nature. Scott Downing will really handle that. That hasn't really been an issue. So I think the biggest thing on game day, if you're talking about what a really big adjustment that Coach Wimberly would have to do, is really going for it on fourth down. There may be a few little things as far as whether you want to run a fake, whether you want to make some adjustments on different things in special teams. But other than that, pretty much everything is going to go like it has normally done. Offense will do what they do, and special teams do what they do. And then there's always some crucial calls where you want to make something. That's the only time where he'll have to make some adjustments.
With a short work week, Coach, give us an idea of the practice schedule, how it went Sunday, and as you prepare for Thursday.
Well, I think right after the game on Saturday night, say some guys came in and watched the tape on their own. I really gave them a responsibility. They didn't necessarily have to grade the tape per se for our players. And then on Sunday morning, the staff came in and started breaking down Coastal Carolina and getting our preparation ready to go. We ended up coming at 6 o'clock on Sunday night as far as with the players. We met at 6 o'clock, had practice there right on the field around 7:15 and went until about 9 o'clock on Sunday. And then Monday, they had a lifting in the morning, and then we had another practice at night. We had a 5:30 was a team meeting on the field there somewhere around 6:30, 6:45, and so off the field probably about 8:30, 8:45, and here we go today. Kind of going back to a normal schedule today, having our meetings right around 2:20, 2:30, and having an afternoon practice. And then tomorrow you do your away trip and you hit it and get it.
With such a tough loss Saturday night, and then going into the final regular season game of the season, which is non-conference game, what's been the mood around the team? I mean, are the players energized, focused, prepared to get ready for the game Thursday night?
Yeah, they're all good. Again, we all turn the page as coaches and players are just moving on to the next play. We talk about be better, and yesterday, again, the excitement about playing a football game. We all are competitors. We all love to coach, teach, and play the game of football. So all the players have been energized and ready to play. Obviously, we've had a few bumps and bruises and those type of things, but the guys are out there, and they're doing just like every other week, talking football and wanting to know what they can do to improve and making sure they play their best football game.
You mentioned in your opening statement you have two ways to make the playoffs. When you get to 7 wins and become at large, in that consideration, also wait for the Kennesaw State game. Is it important for this team, regardless of what happens Saturday, to win, get some momentum in case the selection committee puts you guys in as an at large?
It's always, like I said, a thrill to go out and try to win a football game. No matter what the circumstances, what they are. I know, technically this is the last regular season game that we have on our schedule. Again, you don't want to put any more in it than it is. Don't put any more pressure on it as we talk about to the team. You just go out and play and do the best you can and play as hard as you can, and then be prepared, because it's all about preparation. If you're prepared well, and for the most cases, you're going to go out and play well. So I think all of our staff and our players, we're excited to play a football game and trying to win, just like we do any other game. So there's a lot of significance with all the other things that are going on too, but it's also just say, hey, we want to make sure we go out and win the football game and a good note.
You kind of grade Buckshot Calvert's performance from this past week, and just now that you had a chance to see the tape.
Rated okay. There was probably 4 to 5 throws that were not good as far as that, in my thought process as far as location, as I grade him on every throw that he makes. Again, we had 4 or 5 that definitely he should be able to make the throw. That was 4 or 5 drops. So I think overall, I don't know if wasn't quite the best game. No question about that. I think overall, it's really the whole offensive side of the ball didn't play up to their par. On a up the beat, particularly in the first half, and the second quarter gets to even be more exact.
With the game being on Thursday night, nationally televised, how important is that? More for brand recognition, recruiting. Getting the name of Liberty out there to some that might not normally would pay attention to a Liberty game on a Saturday.
Well, anytime no matter what type of television, and even today, the internet, it's always good to get exposure, and it's always good to play on TV and good to show what our offense, our defense, our special teams, what our school represents, how we go about playing the game. And so it's a great identity for our football program and in Liberty University, which the football program, really more than anything, it represents the whole university and everything we do and everything we say.
When you look at this series, it's nip and tuck. Why do you think these two teams particularly are so competitive against each other?
Well, I think the talent is probably equal, and all those things there, the coaching staff and all that. It's a great competitive, upbeat about playing this game, coaching this game, teaching this game. So again, I think the players are just so excited to play against each other. They respect each other, and they get after it as hard as anybody. And after the game, we're all shaking hands because some people know each other and they played against each other in high school, and so it's just been a great opportunity for both sides, and it's always good to have a lot of talent.
From Saturday's game, if you had to pick out one area that maybe disappointed you the most that you need to pick up for this week, what would that be?
I think offensively, just being able to establish a little bit more consistency on moving the ball. I'm not going to say you have to score every single drive, but at least maybe trying to having at least 2 first downs or so. Because when you get at least 2 first downs, then you also create good field position or bad field position them and a better field position for yourself. So more consistency of moving the ball offensively.
Do you sense the same excitement or rivalry sense from your team for this game than in years past with them not being in the conference now?
All you have to say is Coastal. So I think when you say that, our guys get a little bit upbeat about things and ready to play, and they know what's going on and what's happened in the past, what's happened in the future, and what can happen in the future as far as these ball games. So again, I've seen it once you mention the word Coastal. Our staff and our players know that this is a very, very important ball game, not just all the other significant things that it means to it, but it's about who you're playing.
You mentioned on the conference call this morning there's no plans to play Coastal in the regular season moving forward. Is that disappointing from the rivalry sense that you had with them, and also you're now replacing them on the schedule essentially with Campbell starting in 2018? And how important is that for the conference to add a 7th member?
Well, I think, obviously today's world, as far as all the different changes that's been going on about life, college football, and and you want to call rivalries that are kind of dissipating. Again, they have to feel like they do what they feel best for them. We have to do what we feel best for us as moving forward. I think it's great to have now Campbell, I guess in 2018, to be involved in the Big South Conference. I love the place of being in the regional part of it, being in North Carolina. I like that part of it. Obviously, with Mike Minter, a good friend and a good believer of Jesus Christ and him and running that program too. So that adds a little bit more significance to it. So very excited about it. I think it's great for the conference.
You know, definitely disappointed in the outcome of the Charleston Southern game. Thought going in we had a very good game plan, and after reviewing the film, I would probably still stick to what we were doing. I think we had a very good start, but unfortunately, we had a couple of injuries that hurt us at our D tackle position, and you know, just didn't respond well. That's at the end of the day, give them a hats off to Charleston Southern. They did a good job. And, you know, the thing that I know our young men did Sunday, they came back ready to practice because still in November, we got an opportunity to play for something. It's not a lot of schools that's doing that right now. A lot of schools are getting ready for Thanksgiving, but we still have an opportunity to put ourselves in position to continue to play. And that's all you can ask. As you look at Coastal Carolina, you know, another great team. We all know it's great rivalry, great history with this program. And so definitely excited. The guys have had great energy. You know, they are very talented as far as the running back position. And they also talented with the receivers. And then quarterback, whoever plays, we'll find out. But, you know, we've watched all three quarterbacks that have played and trying to put together a good game plan. I feel excited about what we have in play for this game plan. And I'll take any questions at this time. Thought I missed out on it.
As you prepare for, you know, a unique opportunity on Thursday, you know, it's obviously unfortunate circumstances, but are you excited for the opportunity to you know, coach a game, be a head coach?
Well, you know, my whole thought process is us getting a win, Nick. You know, to me, it's bigger than just me having an opportunity to be a head coach because Coach Gill, this is Coach Gill's program. He's delegated me to make sure that the operation, he's been talking to me daily, giving me insight on how to approach different situations. My ultimate goal is for us to win this game. And like I said, he selected me to lead the program for the day. I'm going to do that to the 100% of my abilities. But we got great coaches. We've been together for a long time. We know each other. We know what to expect, and we've been in this situation before. And definitely going to rely on them. You got former head coaches on our staff. So, you know, I'm just excited the opportunity to play Coastal. At Coastal is going to be a great environment, and just excited to get our players to get back on the field. That's really what we want to do, just get back on the field. Yes, sir.
Is there any coaches that you've worked under in the past who you might try to emulate a style on game day, try to get those guys ready? Like you worked under Coach Rocco here before you joined Coach Gill at Buffalo, or any coaches you played for that you might glean from what they would do on game day to get those guys ready?
No, all I know is to be myself. You know, that's all I know, to be myself. I'm very passionate, excited to be around my players. My whole goal is just defensively. Hopefully, one thing you see that we do, we play hard. We play hard from start to finish. You don't never see our unit just give up. And that's the whole message to the whole team as a whole is we got a great opportunity. We got a great opportunity to play a great team, and we're still playing for something. And it's not a lot of teams doing that in November. And so for me, I'm just going to be myself and coach to the best of my abilities.
Coach, do your responsibilities change that much? I know I guess you have some added responsibilities as acting head coach, but how much more will be on your plate this Thursday?
Well, outside of what I normally do as a defensive coordinator, like I said, I'm going to be in charge of managing the game. He's going to handle, a lot of the communication that I may have had, during while the offense is out on the field. But I trust him. I trust Coach Roberts in the box. And a lot of times, I normally say 30 to a minute of information to the defense, and then I try to get them to their position coaches, either by the phone or Coach Singletary talking to the defensive line. So nothing really changes from that standpoint. And so, very confident in, the ability to get the job done.
Coach Chadwell this morning said he felt like that they had some opportunities with the play action and to wear you guys down a little bit on the D-line. Is that really a byproduct of those injuries that you spoke of?
Yes, sir. Once, if you saw early in the second quarter, Tolan Avery went down, and then we lost Will Brown a few plays later, and he tried to come back, and I give him credit because in halftime he did not want to sit out. But we all know we've had some casualties, unfortunately, on our defense, and that kind of took a toll a little bit. But it's still no excuses. We got to get the job done, and we did not. But in reality, you watch the film. I felt very good at how we started off the game, and I do believe in my heart if we would have been able to stay healthy, we'd probably been able to at least put forth a better execution of the plays that were called. But you know what? Next man up. And, the two young men that potentially were maybe starting, they came Sunday and last night, practiced hard. Coach Singletary has done a great job with DeCarlo Hamilton and Greg Story. And you got to realize he's working with young men that he hasn't had a spring with. He's working with young men that just came in August. I'm excited just to see how he's able to teach. Like I said, Coach Singletary is a special person. He finds a way to get it done, and we all know that. And so I'm just excited just to see how we respond Thursday.
With Solomon being listed as probable for this game, how much does that take into effect how much you want to get Ryan Davis some reps with the first team and get him acclimated with playing a more higher volume of snaps if needed?
Well, Ryan Davis has played throughout the season, and he's taken the reps with the ones, and I'm not discouraged by him playing at all. He's played a lot in our nickel package, and so he's been getting a lot of snaps for us. Of course, the magnitude is probably a little greater for him. Just to know that he's starting, I can tell that he's excited. But he's always been preparing each week like he would be a starter. So I'm just excited to give him an opportunity to showcase what he's able to do.
Could you just speak a little bit more about Greg's story and also, DeCarlo Hamilton?
Yeah.
Who may be starting at D-tackle, and then some of the guys who might be behind them.
Okay, well, we're trying to find out who's going to be behind them. I would tell you, DeCarlo Hamilton is a young man that we recruited out of Florida. He was out of my area in Plantation, Florida, at American Heritage High School, a powerhouse high school in the state of Florida. And he's came on the scene. We wanted to try to redshirt him, but, due to some circumstances, we felt like we needed him to be that fifth guy. And now he's stepped up to the ladder to now he's the second guy, first guy when you come to starting. I think the thing that he brings for his size, he's very athletic. He's a strong young man, and he's very intelligent. And like I said, Coach Singletary has worked wonders just in 2 days with what I saw last night in his footwork, hand placement. And so I'm excited, to give him an opportunity, like I said, to showcase his talent. Greg Story, we all know he's been here for 2 years on the offensive side of the ball. And over the summer, it was just some discussion about him possibility of helping us defensively. And like I said, we got our hands on him in August. And like I said, to see what Coach Singletary has been able to do with this young man and see how this young man has been passionate, enjoying being at practice. He's a strong young man. And, he's had a good 2 days of practice. So, I'm excited to see these two young men because they want it. And, anytime you got young men that's really buying into your coach and your teaching and seeing how they came out, not making any excuses, wanting to learn. And it's just like a teacher teaching a student. You appreciate those moments when you know you got their attention and they're hungry to learn. And that's what I'm seeing from those two young men, and that's half the battle.
Robert, they're running the football a lot more. Coastal is probably a product of their quarterback situation and the fact that Alex Ross is no longer there anymore. How far could it go to winning this game? Obviously, it's elephant in the room, stopping the run. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So as compared to as much as they're not passing the ball, so imperative stopping the run, how important is that, as cliche as it is?
Oh, it's definitely going to be very important. We all know that. We know, and watching the film, just as you stated, they're trying to rotate 3 quarterbacks to try to muster up some passing game opportunities. And thus far, they forced to run the ball, which we call wildcat formations. They've had a lot of success. One because they have 2 dynamic running backs. And we know that we have to accomplish that. But like I said, to me, it all boils down to what we do. The confidence that we bring from our young men to understand where to fit, how to fit. And you look at last Saturday, early in the game, we stopped the run. But then we had some situations, like I said, that happens to all football teams. And it's our job to get that corrected. And that's why I feel very good in our D-line play, because Coach Singletary is teaching those guys. I've seen great improvement. So I'm excited to see how we respond to them wanting to run the ball on us, because we all know that's how you win championships. You got to be able to run the ball. And they're doing that at a high level. They won the game last week because they was able to consistently run the ball. So in a way, I'm probably a little excited that we are in that situation versus taking on these dynamic receivers that they have. And, with Ross not being there from last year, we definitely know that we have to just put together a good game plan to stop the run.
This is no longer a conference game, but as Coach Gill said, all you got to do is say Coastal, and everybody kind of perks up.
Oh, it's no doubt. I mean, anytime you mention Coastal, it makes your hair stand up. Because this is a great rivalry. Like I said, this is my second stint here, even from when we played when I was under Coach Rocco. That was a game like no other game. I mean, it was just special to be a part of those games. And since I've returned, the atmosphere has only increased. The intensity has only increased. And I don't expect anything different, just because it's 2 great schools that have both have done great things in the time that they've been in the Big South, and we know that Coastal is moving and transitioning to FBS. But I think the rivalry is always going to remain strong, because we know the dislike that both programs have for each other in a good way. Because normally the team that wins out of these 2 normally are doing something special, and that's just been the facts. And so, this Thursday night is no different. We need a win to do something special. So I think that amps up the juice of playing Coastal. And what better game to be your last game for the regular season than to play Coastal Carolina?
Just to recap the Chuck South game, I thought our guys fought really, really hard the entire game. At no point in time did they ever give in or surrender. I think the missed opportunities that we had early on in a football game, led to our demise. We had some overthrown footballs. We've had some drop footballs. We had a couple sacks. Things of that nature, don't bid well for you if you don't make those plays early on in a football game, because we had a lot of good momentum early on, and we scored 2 field goals when if we would have scored 2 touchdowns, I think that the outcome of the game would have been different. But moving on to Coastal, they're a very, really well-disciplined football team, specifically on defense. They got a bunch of guys that we've played against in years past. I like the structure of their new defense. I think they play really, really hard, and they're very, really disciplined. So,
What has changed with their? I mean, Coach Gill said that they still run the even front down there, but with Mickey Matthews, what nuances have you seen kind of change?
well, I think they've always played hard. I think they're playing harder, specifically up front. There's been some schematical changes in the secondary, in addition to the box linebackers. but they play from snap to whistle the entire game, which is what you want out of any defense. But yeah, I mean, really similar structure, but they're playing pretty fast.
With Lucas listed as doubtful, how much are you guys trying to patch that offensive line again this year to try to find the right 5, maybe 6 guys to give yourselves a chance to get that running game going after Charleston Southern was able to stop you?
Yeah, that's been a theme all season. Trying to patch up an offensive line group that's had a lot of injuries. But like we do every week, we do an analysis of what we've got coming back going into each game, and we try to develop the best run game plan, the best pass protection plan that we can put in place in order to give us the most, the best opportunity to play our best football game week in and week out. Each week it changes just because you don't know who's going to be in the lineup. Some people are questionable, some guys are full go, and so you're playing this game of wait and see until game day. But with that being said, next man up mentality is what we've had all year long, and you can see there's been a number of guys that have started for us. So.
What's been your assessment of Buckshot the past 3 or 4 weeks? Obviously, the stats haven't been there, but is that primarily due to him or other factors? And then what's your message to him to try to get him to get back on track?
I think the past 4 weeks we've played different caliber defenses, both structurally and schematically. There's been games where we haven't asked him to do a lot in the pass game, and there's been other games where in crucial down and distances, hey, you got to be the guy here because they're all going to come after you, and you got to deliver the football. This past week, third down is where we asked him, hey, you got to make some plays, and they got 2 all-conference defensive ends that were coming after him a great deal, in addition to some secondary pressure that they were bringing. And so, early on there were some overthrown footballs because they kind of made him uncomfortable. But in the second half, you could see that once he calmed down and once he could really, really see and pinpoint where people were going to be, he made a couple clutch throws. And in each week it changes, whether it's a first and second down game plan where we're going to ask him to try to, be the guy versus on third down. Last week it was more so third down and he had to be the guy. And early on he didn't have as much success as you'd want. But as the game went along, he was able to step up in the pocket and make some clutch throws when we needed. Unfortunately, it was too little too late. But you could see that there was maturity and growth in that second half of that football game with that young man. The message specifically that, I've been giving him all week long, really just to be consistent. We talk about as a quarterback here, you're like the mailman. Every single day, whether it rains, whether it's sunny, thunderstorms, whatever it may be, you have to deliver the mail. That's your job as a quarterback. And so he's taking it in stride, and he understands what he needs to improve on. But I'm excited to watch him play here Thursday night.
Given some of the holes on the offensive line with injuries and whatnot, are you kind of reassessing some of your protection packages and maybe getting tight ends more involved, just something to try to slow down the pass rush?
Of course, you always want to take a look at where the weaknesses are or where the cracks are per se in any protection or run game plan. And so with that being said, we always take into account of adding or subtracting a guy in protection week in and week out, because if you take a guy out, it may eliminate another rusher. If you add another guy in, it may add an additional rusher. And so we're very particular in who we want to get involved in the possibilities of what could happen as a result of it. But yes, we do take a look at a number of different protections to see what best fits us going week in and week out.
Coach, how much interaction do you have with Coach Gill during the game, and with him not, being on the sidelines Thursday night, how much does that impact you and how you call the game?
Well, Coach Gill's always on he's always on the headset of the side of the football which is on the field. So with that being said, he's providing his insight, his thought processes if we cross the 50. We're thinking about going forward if we get a fourth down. So there's always been that dialogue there. Is it something that's, the entire time duration of the game? No, it's only when we're in a situation in which, hey, listen, we need to be thinking kick a field goal, or we need to be thinking go for two, yada, yada, yada. But there is dialogue.
Coach, Coastal's defense, does it present any special concerns for you? Anything different than you've seen in the past few weeks? Anything that they do differently?
Well, structurally, they're similar to what we've seen in previous weeks, and similar in some senses to what we do here at Liberty. So with that being said, there's some familiarity with what they do. Just the presentation of their structure is different from us in the sense that, they mix up a lot of zone and man coverage constantly. They don't have any rhythm per se, in the sense of we're always going to be cover 2, cover 4, cover 6 on first and second down, and man on third down. At any point in time, they can dial up any of those coverages, and you got to be prepared. So with that being said, you got to call plays that are favorable in the run game and pass game to account for, base looks versus pressure looks. So they do present that unique challenge in the sense that you got to be sound play call structure-wise.
As coaches, what are you doing to present this game to the players as, that this is still a game of significance? Certainly the rivalry has something to do with that, I'm sure, but just, as far as the big picture.
Well, we always talk about having a workman's mentality. Come in and do your job the way it's supposed to be done. Doesn't matter if the team has an 0-10 record or they're 10-0. It doesn't matter. You got to come in here and put your best effort forward. And the theme for this season for us offensively has been fight. It's always a fight. Every week you're going to go into a football game and you're going to get the best fight from your opponent. So with that being said, you got to put your best effort forward, knowing that you're going to get everyone's best shot. The significance behind this football game, our guys are well aware of it, but they do know this. They have to fight in order for us to even have a chance to go on and play the next week. And so that's been our concern. That's what we've been talking about all week, is play your best football game, knowing that you're going to get their best fight and their best shot.